Hi guys, it's Kako from Kakomoto. And today we're driving in Toyota's hybrid electric vehicle drive. So this is an event that Toyota's hosting us and giving us the chance to experience all the hybrid cars and their lineup. So over the next few days, we'll be testing out the entire Toyota hybrid vehicle lineup. We have the Corolla hybrid, the Corolla Cross hybrid, the RAV4 hybrid, and this is the Camry hybrid. So for those who don't know, before going to law school and becoming a lawyer, I was with the Lexus Toyota Group. We actually did a lot of pushing at that time because Lexus was the only company that offered hybrids in the Philippines. But times have changed, and I think one of the big things is that there's now a tax break for hybrids. I think it's the excise taxes. No? This tax break has allowed hybrids to become a lot cheaper on the market. The Corolla and the Corolla Cross are actually good examples of this. So for a little bit more than the normal Corolla, Corolla Cross, and the Camry, you can get its hybrid variant. So what we're going to talk about in this video is why exactly would you want to choose hybrid, how hybrid works, because that's the thing that a lot of people ask questions about. It's like, oh, where do you need to charge it and all that. So I'll give you the basic lowdown of how Toyota hybrid technology works. The first question people always ask is it new technology? Actually, it's only new to the Philippines because we've only gotten hybrids recently. But Toyota has actually been making hybrids since 1997. That's basically 25 years of Toyota Hybrid Synergy Drive. So Hybrid Synergy Drive is the branding that Toyota uses for its hybrid motors and hybrid systems. And 25 years is a long time for you to be in the market, no? A lot of people, when Toyota first launched the hybrid, they thought that, hey, hybrid's just a stopgap to full electrification. But actually, what people don't realize is Toyota really banked it almost all in on hybrids. So those same detractors who were saying that, hey, hybrid's just a stopgap, eventually caved in and started making their own hybrids as well. So Toyota had a good head start. In the Philippines, we launched Lexus with a good hybrid lineup. So we had the RX hybrid, the GS hybrid, and I think those two were the ones we started with. And over time, when I left Lexus, over time they launched the ES hybrid, the LS hybrid. So the entire hybrid lineup eventually made its way through to Lexus. No? So Lexus has been at the forefront of hybrid technology. But Lexus is the luxury brand of Toyota. So despite Lexus having the full hybrid lineup, it was only a matter of time before Toyota would come in with their hybrid lineup. And I think in today's market, there is no better brand poised to take advantage of the tax breaks and also the advantages of hybrid than Toyota. So right now, Toyota has the Corolla Cross hybrid. That's the subcompact SUV hybrid. They have the Corolla hybrid, which is a compact car. And they have the Camry hybrid, which is what we're driving now, which is a mid-size sedan. That's a hybrid. And they also have the RAV4 hybrid, which is a compact SUV hybrid. So it's a very well-rounded lineup. You have everything from the small SUV to not a medium, but like close enough compact SUV, and you have two sedans. So it's a very well-rounded lineup. So it's really putting Toyota at the forefront of hybrid technology in the Philippines. So how does hybrid work? So the way Toyota hybrid works is that it marries a gasoline engine to the electric motors. No? So you have electric motors, you have a battery, and then you have a gasoline engine. The way it works is a gasoline engine is not so efficient at low speed because gas engines need time to spool up. And electric motors are not so efficient at high speed. So the way hybrid works for Toyota is that they merge them together so that you have the best of both worlds and the weaknesses of none. So at low speed, from anywhere from 0 to 40 kilometers an hour, the electric motor completely takes over and you can run in full electric mode. And that makes the hybrid super silent to drive in city driving. Once you get up to speed, about 40 kilometers an hour, the gasoline engine takes over. And it gives you the advantage of a gasoline engine that's working a little bit less strenuously because you're going 40 kilometers an hour and above. The nice thing about Toyota Hybrid Drive is that it's a parallel hybrid. Parallel hybrids allow the gas engine and the electric motor to work completely independently, meaning unlike some what we call mild hybrids, this is a full hybrid system. In mild hybrids, the engine always has to be on while you're moving forward. In a Toyota hybrid, because it's a full hybrid, at low speed, it's running completely on EV mode. Actually, right now, if you look at it, we're creeping through traffic. We're not actually using any gas. We're running completely electric. So we're running silent and we're running completely clean. Very environmentally friendly. So the great thing about Toyota Hybrid Drive, it's not only just for economy, it's also for performance, because electric motors are very torquey. So it's very instantaneous how much power that you want. So at higher speeds, if you floor it, the gas engine and the electric motor can work together, so you get more power from both. Now, a lot of people also ask me, hey, Kako, how do you charge a hybrid? Do you have to plug it in? Do you have to go to like a Tesla supercharger station? Actually, no. Toyota hybrids are built entirely like normal cars. So you drive them like you would a normal car. So how does it charge? Well, it charges by just driving the car. So as you coast along, if you lift from the accelerator, it charges the battery. The battery charges as the wheels turn around. So the way it works is Toyota hybrids have two motor generators. Motor generator 1, motor generator 2. MG1 is in charge of starting the engine. So it's a big starter motor. But it also allows the engine as well as the wheels to charge the battery. You don't have to plug it in. It just charges while you're driving. So if the battery's a bit low, the gasoline engine will turn on and charge the battery. But also while you're driving, if you lift from the accelerator and you start coasting, or you're going downhill, or you're braking, the movement of the wheels will charge the battery, much like a windmill would charge electricity. As the motion, the kinetic energy from the wheels moving, that actually goes to motor generator 1, MG1, and charges the battery. Now, MG2 powers the wheels. So if you have enough energy from any speed from 0 to 40 kilometers an hour, MG2 can kick in and you can run the car in a full electric mode. And this is something that only parallel hybrids or full hybrids can do. And that's the advantage of Toyota Hybrid Drive. Now, the best part about it is in a city where gasoline engines aren't so efficient because of the stop-go nature of traffic, the hybrids are actually more efficient. So right now, we're driving the Camry Hybrid. I was driving it in the city a while ago. We were doing about 21 kilometers per liter in the city. So that's great. 21 kilometers in the city, in this economy, with these gas prices, that's great, honestly. So another question a lot of people ask me is whether hybrids are a little bit more expensive to maintain. Aren't they expensive with all these different systems? Well, the answer there is technically no. And the technically no part comes with a caveat. The caveat there is at least that nothing major goes wrong. And at least in my experience with Toyota and Toyota hybrids, I actually owned a hybrid for a few years. No, it never went wrong. Okay, why is that? Hybrids have electric motors. The electric motors that Toyota uses are brushless type. They're completely maintenance free. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to open them. They're completely sealed. They just do their job. And then the batteries, well, Toyota batteries, if you notice the range, you can go full electric mode up to about 4 kilometers. A lot of people will be like, hey, that's not so much for a hybrid. That's not so much for an electric vehicle. Doesn't drive so far. Well, that can be a good and bad thing. One, bad, it's not a lot of range electric-wise. But the good thing is that's because the batteries are very unstressed. Now, the computer takes care of charging the battery completely. You don't have to charge it. You don't have to do anything. The way the computer works is it keeps heat down. And for those who know, the biggest enemy of battery life is heat. No? So it doesn't allow the car to overcharge. It doesn't allow the car to undercharge. It keeps it in that little sweet spot that keeps the battery health very long. The hybrid I owned, it was about 5 years old when I bought it, and the battery was still working perfectly, as if it was brand new. So these unstressed batteries, at least in the Toyota system, mean that it's very chill, it's very relaxed, and it means it can be quite reliable for many, many years. No? The other thing that makes hybrids less maintenance intensive is that it saves your brakes. So because of regenerative braking, meaning when you slow down light braking or medium braking, you're not actually using your brake pads. It's actually the electric motors taking the slack so that it charges the battery. From my experience, as you drive the car, a hybrid tends to use less brake pads. So your brakes don't actually get that much of a workout, no? Aside from that, it's a less stress on the gasoline engine because the gasoline engine only comes in at higher speeds. So right now we're doing about 60 in traffic on the highway, and we're running alternating between gas and electric, but mainly it's the gas engine. And that's because the gas engine is quite efficient at 60 kilometers an hour. So the gas engine just takes over, and I think we're doing about 20 kilometers per liter. And that's amazing for a mid-size sedan. One of the other questions I always get when we're talking about hybrids is, how is it like to drive? Well, honestly, Toyota hybrids, it's fantastic. It feels exactly like a normal car to drive. You have a go pedal and a brake pedal. So the go pedal accelerates the car, and the brake pedal slows it down. That's basically it. It drives like a normal car. Actually, if you hand this car to a normal driver, the only thing they'll notice is that when you push the start button, almost nothing happens. That's because as you start the car, it's running completely on electric mode, and electric means it's running completely silent. So when it's running completely silent, people are like, oh, can I start the car already? Yes, the car's running. Just have to look at this little ready indicator that you have on the dash. If that lights up, you can drive. So that's the biggest difference with driving a normal car. But other than that, you just step on the gas to go. There's a gear shift, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and there's a brake pedal. Diba? Some people find the regenerative brakes take some time to get used to, but that is something that you can learn. There's a little bit of different feel. Toyota has been working on it for 25 years, and I think they've got it pretty well sorted out, that it really feels like a normal brake pedal. A little bit of learning curve, but if I didn't bring it up, you would not notice it, the difference. So it's quite easy to drive. You can hand this car to almost anyone and they'll be able to drive it much like a normal car. And that, I think, is the advantage of hybrids. You don't have to think about charging. You don't have to think about where can I plug it in. You don't have to think about range. Your range depends on how much gas you have. Like a normal car. There's a very small learning curve coming from regular gasoline cars to hybrid electric vehicles. So, I've sold you on the hybrid. People ask, what's the disadvantage? Well, first is the price. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive than a gas car. But because of those excise tax breaks, it's really not that much more than a non-hybrid car. If you're in the market for, let's say, a Camry, it's worth considering getting the hybrid because the price difference is small enough and the advantages are big enough that it just makes sense to upgrade to a hybrid. One of the most common cars I can recommend to all my friends looking to buy a car is the Corolla Cross Hybrid. It's a subcompact SUV. It's a hybrid car. It's got CarPlay na. Toyota hasn't had CarPlay for years, and finally they have CarPlay in this nice screen. It's just a good buy now. Plus, it's a Toyota. Sabi nga ng isang client ko before with Lexus is, I love Toyota. When he was asked why, he's like, yung Toyota kahit Mercury drug, may pyesa yan eh. So yes, anywhere you go, a Toyota would always be one, more reliable, and two, easier to shop for parts. It's just a logical purchase decision. If you're looking for a car that will last forever and not let you down, a Toyota is one of the easiest car brands to recommend. And that's speaking as unbiased as I can be, having worked for them for 5 years. So I'm trying to be unbiased here, but really, like the other cars, like there's certain brands that I love also, but it's kind of hard with the experience I've had. Like I love Mazdas, but the reliability of these cars, well, it's not the best, no? Like the Mazda I had, I was always in the shop. There was always a small issue, not game-changing, doesn't destroy my experience. I love how they drive, but these are problems I've never had in a Toyota or my hybrid. So yeah, it's worth considering, honestly. So that's the first installment. I've given you a little background of the Toyota hybrid experience. For the next video, we'll go through each of the hybrid cars that Toyota is letting us test drive, and I'll go through the pros and cons of each and what makes each hybrid that little bit better than the non-hybrid versions. It's Kako from Kakomoto. Drive safe, and I'll see you soon.